Hey guys, Scott here. How often do you hear the phrase, the game is not balanced, but it is the most balanced that it's ever been? That's usually a defense when someone tries to bring up something that's kind of broken. They always compare it to, like, release day, Dead by Daylight, and say, well, the game is in the best state it's ever been, at least. Even if it's still unfair, it's still in the best state it's ever been. And I don't think that's true anymore. I think that time has come and gone. There was a time when it wasn't its best state. Obviously, it was not when the game first came out because it was a hilariously broken game, but it's not right now either with MMR and Dead Hard Validation and Circle of Healing, and they keep releasing killers that are just completely anti-loop, and that's all they do. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that makes me not really agree with the statement that the game's in the best spot it's ever been anymore. However, I wanted to look at when I thought the game was in its best state, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly where that is. I'm going to just give you like a year, like probably the best year of the game, because I mean that's only like 3 or 4 patches. It's not a huge deal, but it's hard to exactly pinpoint the exact patch. But it was kind of around the time of Blight, maybe a little bit before, when they started reworking maps and their whole A Realm Beyond thing, where they took a lot of the most problematic structures like Ironworks and Misery, Groaning Storehouse, basically all these really annoying God windows in Asylum. They did what people were requesting for a long time and added holes in the wall that would make it so it wouldn't be a God window anymore. And that was one of the most requested changes for a while. And they did this on a lot of their maps. They fixed a lot of the problematic structures. Now, obviously, several months later, they just went back on that and added breakable walls to all of these things, making them God structures again. But during that time, the most problematic structures in the game were actually pretty well designed. And it's sad that they knew how to fix that and then just went back on it. But during that time, that was really good. Also, this is sort of around the time when Blight came out. And I still, to this day, think that Base Kit Blight is the best designed killer in the entire game. He encourages people to loop. He discourages the most boring part, which is just holding W and running in a straight line away. And he was very well balanced. Now, this was at a time before people realized how many exploits and bullshit that he had that frankly have just ruined Blight. Like, the latest thing is the whole lag flicking thing, which I think they just patched, which is good. But I still, to this day, say that Base Kit Blight is the most fun thing in the game, not including exploits and all that bullshit. And the thing is, with Blight also came the first version of Undying, which I think was a little on the strong side. I wouldn't say it was like overpowered, but if you were unlucky, so you could have to go through like 3 hex runes, which was dumb. So that was like the one caveat I'd have to say that was probably unfair in that patch. But I still say that Base Kit Blight. I'm not saying like Undying Tinker, Alchemist Ring, Blighted Crow, Blight is fun. That's not fun. I agree. I'm just saying like Base Kit Blight with a regular build is actually the best design thing in the game. So that's why I think I hold that patch so highly, because it also came on the time of the map reworks and things like that too. Also, I remember sounds were very functional during that patch. I don't know why it seems to fluctuate. The audio occlusion thing was not like fully implemented yet or something like that. So the sounds, you could actually hear things through walls. That was really good. Obviously, MMR didn't exist back then, and maps were probably at their best in terms of balance. Yeah, overall, I think that was the rough time when DBD was at its best design and balance-wise. And then later they started going backwards with a couple of things. And then they kept releasing more and more killers that were just not very exciting to go against. And then they did MMR and Dead Hard Validation, and then Boons are the latest thing that are... You know what? It's not even Boons. It's just Circle of Healing. I always say that it's Boons that are a problem, but it's not. It's just Circle of Healing. The other 2 Boons are very strong, but they're not overpowered. Circle of Healing is the only one that's just like ridiculously strong. So either way, the last thing is that the meta of gameplay has also changed, probably in part due to MMR. People just put importance on MMR for whatever the fuck reason. I think MMR is just as much a community problem as it is a bad decision to simply add it to the game problem, because the reason people are playing so much sweatier is because they want to get higher MMR that they can't see, that just gives them sweatier match. It's like the dumbest vicious cycle loop. People play sweatier to get sweatier match. That's a whole separate video. But, obviously that has made people play in such a way where people play very safe now. They just run forward, they hold W, they just drop pallets, and all of like the fun looping part of the game is just gone now. And I know there's some people that were like, oh, well, looping, I don't want to run to 15 god palettes in a row and just kick them over and over. You weren't doing that unless you're playing on the game, which sucks and is a problem. You're not kicking 15 god palettes a match. You can mind game literally half the palettes on a map. So I think that is just objectively more fun than just holding W that has become prevalent now. I don't know how you could possibly argue that that is less fun than holding W. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I don't know how you can argue that that's less fun than just holding W. At least when you're getting looped, you have to press 2 buttons instead of just pressing W. You have to press W and spacebar sometimes. That's just more numbers. That's more exciting, right? Again, separate video. But if I had to just reiterate, I'd say the best point in this game was around Blight. A little bit before that and kind of a little bit after that. That whole time was probably the best balance this game has ever been. Will I get back to that point? Probably at some point. But I would say we're not living in the golden days of DBD right now. I think they have passed, but they could come back. Anyway, I just wanted to give that a quick discussion. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.